Okay, again, today's webinar, Game Changer for Citrix Partners. We would like to share with you the groundbreaking Desktop 365 technology that enables partners to do actually much more with Citrix than in a traditional way. So this is a high-level context setting introducing Desktop 365. Really, what we see this technology being used by a number of partners with whom we worked already, that it allows them to better serve existing customers but also open new markets. What does it mean? The functionality that this product provides allows partners to give new features to their customers. For example, features like self-service for business users, they can essentially manage themselves without contacting IT. And a lot of end customers actually do appreciate this kind of offering. This solution also allows people to reduce cost of implementing and managing Citrix desktop virtualization. So what that means, partners can be more competitive in the marketplace and actually enter also new segments like SMB segment, which has been untapped for a while. And this also allows partners to scale their business without scaling the team. Essentially, the high-end architects that are needed today to deploy Citrix can be spread across many more projects. So going into the next level of detail, desktop virtualization, as many of you are familiar with this technology and are implementing it to customers, but you also know very well that it is pretty complex and costly to implement. And these are the barriers to adoption in the market or barriers to scale your business. Complex, there are multiple technologies, complex networking, and extensive troubleshooting that's needed when these solutions are deployed. And then it's costly partially because you need to employ very high-end architects to do the deployment and troubleshooting. Troubleshooting time also often takes time. Even small issues sometimes consume weeks and weeks. And then the lengthy implementation, if you start looking at it end-to-end for the customer as a cycle from researching the technology, really designing, architecting it, and then taking time to stabilize and scale up certain infrastructure, it can take easily many months, if not years. And then user experience. Now the system is up and running and working, but you end up running either into IOPS bottlenecks or just issues, some instability, and it again takes time to stabilize the system. Now, Maximum Bit has been in business for about 15 years, focused on Citrix desktop virtualization. And about 5 years back, we sort of stepped back and said, hey, is that the way desktop virtualization should be deployed, or can there be a better way? And that's when this initiative started that resulted in this product offering. And the concept behind it is really borrowed from an automotive industry, and with what Ford Model T created in an automotive industry by creating a standard product and then having a standard product, really creating an assembly line and automating a lot of manual labor required in assembling the car. Now, what it resulted in a mass production of cars that actually were affordable to people. Now, and this is the magic behind standardization, because standardization allows significantly higher level of automation than traditionally possible. So So that's what we did. We basically said, can we take all those best practices that were accumulated over the years and put them together into one best practice standard reference architecture that can be used over and over again. And then for that architecture, then develop automation software that knows the configuration of the environment and automates deployment and ongoing IT administration tasks. And that's what has been accomplished, and this technology is now available for partners to use and really take this to a much broader market. Here are a couple highlights what this standardization and automation drives. If we take a TCO of a 300-user system, desktop virtualization, deployed, let's say, in a mid-market as a dedicated desktop virtualization environment, the cost can easily run over 3 years into $400K. And with this solution, there are significant savings on hardware, implementation services cost, and ongoing IT operations. So from the end customer perspective, the total cost can be as low as $200K or 50% reduction. We do see that significant reduction, especially in the segment of 100 to 1,000 users. Obviously, when the system becomes bigger, the cost of implementation are spread just simply across more users. But whether it's a 100-user deployment or 1,000, it's still pretty much the same services cost and expense needed to deploy the system. Now, why the cost goes down? Again, on the bottom here, a couple bullet points. It's a pre-architected solution, so there's no need to really go through a cycle of architecting, designing, and continuously changing, maybe in production, to optimize it. All this has been done. All the best practices are incorporated. The implementation effort is reduced. As we will demonstrate later, the deployment can be done really within minutes of the full Citrix stack. And then the IT administration of the environment is also streamlined and automated. We're also providing self-service for business users, so users can just subscribe to applications that they need, and they don't need to contact IT for such requests, and hence there is a reduction in IT overhead as well. Part of this solution, as I'll explain later, is a hyperconverged system that's very cost competitive on the market, while it gives a virtual desktop that performs better than an SSD laptop. From implementation time, on the right side, we see significant savings as well. So literally, a deployment can be done sort of from customer order to putting a system into production within a ballpark of 6 weeks. I mean, in reality, in smaller deployments can be done even faster. I mean, this here we're taking an example of 300-user system. In a traditional way, that would easily take sort of 6 months from architecting, designing, piloting, troubleshooting, stabilizing. And so this savings is pretty realistic. The wrap-up summary of what we're able to achieve with this is that the complexity is completely reduced, and as we will be explaining later in today's presentation about this technology, there is a standard architecture, there is an end-to-end automation, and this solution has been proven in production with multiple customers. The largest deployment has been 15,000 users in 4 data centers. So it really, and it has been in production for over several years. The deployments include also smaller deployments for hosting provider with about 1,000 customer users, as well as a veterinary hospital with 35 employees using all the same technology to the benefit of their business. Optimized cost is a significant saving, and it's really the whole IOPS issues and related sort of cost of underlying architecture on the infrastructure side has been resolved. I mean, typically, maybe SSD-based systems are used, which are pretty expensive. Also, blade server SAN architecture carries with itself a significant cost. So here, a hyperconverged system, just starting with 2 nodes, you have full availability, and it's working and performing pretty much out of the box. Turnkey solution. Probably it will. It starts actually with the fact that all the requirements have been standardized and identified what's needed. So the system can or does support both persistent and pooled VDI, as well as hosted shared desktop and XenApp application virtualization. So pretty much all models are supported. They are clearly defined in terms of user compute capacity as a standard, and then those standard requirements translated into a standard architecture. What's most importantly, really with this approach, you don't need to kind of go through a traditional custom implementation cycle, versus you can adopt an approach of sort of try and buy as a product. And you can even work with your customers that way. Part of what we are recommending is a demo environment or POC, essentially in a small Intel NUC form factor box you can use, bring it to the customer, and within an hour make it operational and even on their network, and run POCs that way. Let them try it out for a period of time, and then if they like what they see, then you can just say, okay, within a couple of weeks I can implement you this system. So, and that cycle is completely different, and the fact that you can do POCs with just few mouse clicks is astonishing. We had one case where the partner had a customer visiting them, but they had some issues in their lab and had to rebuild the environment. So literally, when the customer came, the partner just said, hey, I just rebuilt this environment within the last hour. And then they showed the functionality. It was pretty impressive. Now, great user experience. As I mentioned, IOPS is a typical bottleneck. It has been recognized by us early on, so we researched the market and identified what we believe is the best technology in software-defined storage that really brings sort of in-memory speed storage capabilities here to bear. And hence, these issues are completely sort of resolved, and virtual desktop, as I mentioned, shows storage performance 2 times better than if you measure it on your SSD laptop. Overall, the system is optimized for performance at all levels. And what's important, that there is an intuitive self-service provided to business users, so they appreciate that part as well. So, jumping to the next slide, this is just a quick comparison with what would it take to implement this functionality, taking some other Citrix products. Some of you may be familiar with App Orchestrator, maybe Cloud Platform, Cloud Portal Service Manager. Those products are available from Citrix for service provider market. They were not marketed for on-premise deployments. But they brought some interesting functionality. Workspace Cloud is being positioned today as kind of a way to go with SMB, and it's a good solution for certain specific use cases. But what we're showing here, that to really create that functionality that Desktop365 software creates, you need all these products to be brought together which is obviously a licensing expense as well. But then you still need an architect who understands all these products together and puts them into a working system. Now here you are getting all of that pretty much out of the box. The system is operational after the setup wizard runs and makes the environment working. There is no architect work involved when the deployments are happening. So what this allows partners to do is to really, on one side, enhance their existing business, but on the other side, what's possible is to expand into new delivery models. And so this system can be deployed in a branch office. In such cases, even in enterprise are relevant. Or in small business when they may not have a data center and may have just a server room. The system can be deployed in a customer's data center. Today, most of the market is in that space, and a number of systems require upgrade. So that's a great solution to upgrade the existing environment and do it quickly, cheaply. And these are, frankly, the use cases we see on the market today. With one of the current dialogues with a customer who was literally on sort of very old XenApp version, almost MetaFrame, and they didn't upgrade all these years just because they understood that the cost and complexity of doing migration is pretty much the same as doing a new implementation. And so people were stuck with the old technology. Now, when the partner showed the quote for creating sort of an environment based on this technology, then the customer couldn't believe, and just there was no question they wanted to proceed as fast as they could. And so customer data center is a great use case. Hosting provider, part of the functionality of the portal here is that you can also manage a shared environment with access level controls and run multiple, even smaller customers from one system. So like 5, 10 users, 30, 50. I mean, size in this case is not a limit, but from the business perspective, we see that that shared model is used for customers maybe in a segment of up to 100 users and above. But above 100, you will start seeing more and more sort of dedicated deployments. So in this case, this solution can be used to both run a shared environment for this multiple small customers, as well as just create easily multiple dedicated environments, especially in certain industries with sort of security and regulations. The customers are asking for dedicated environments, and here you can do it very easily. Now, we started seeing more and more requests from partners interested in hosting in the cloud, and obviously their customers are asking. Customers who are migrating their apps to the cloud will need to move desktop virtualization environment also there, or application virtualization, and hence this is sort of upcoming trend. Again, this technology can be used for that as well. Now, a few data points on the SMB market. Some of you may have attended the Citrix Summit earlier this year, and one of the key highlights was recognition of the revenue potential for Citrix and the Citrix ecosystem partners in the SMB market, talking about sort of billions of revenue. Now here for you a statistic from US Census about employment in US, and what you can recognize here that while in enterprise about 55 million people are employed, there are another 54 million people employed in SMB market, which is defined from 10 users. Actually, it goes from 1, but if we take the market from 10 users to 1,000 users here, it is pretty much the same size of workforce. You could actually also count the education market with 11 million faculty and about 70 million students as part of SMB market, since by nature and behavior these are smaller entities and they require pretty much dedicated deployments in most cases. So that way the SMB market becomes even bigger in terms of the workforce. And so this solution really, because it's turnkey, because it's like a box, you drop it, you run a setup wizard, and it is operational, you can very easily bring it into SMB market from, I don't know, 1, 5 users, 10 users, 30 users, or 1,000. If it takes you just a couple hours to deploy the environment and make it operational, there is no that barrier anymore as today. Today, you may need to spend maybe 50,000 or even 100,000 if it's whether it's 100 user or 1,000 user deployment. With this setup, this cost is completely brought down. Another way to look at this, this technology is still relevant in enterprises as well. So we're really just trying to highlight that we're opening up a small and medium business, but we do have a number of dialogues in enterprise segment with partners where either this is looked at a desktop virtualization appliance or this can be a branch office IT system. IT system means that it will run desktop virtualization, but you may run also couples client-server applications on the same system, and it will be kind of an IT for that location. Restaurant chains, frankly, are adopting something like this. Banks is a great use case. And then desktop virtualization in the cloud. When enterprises move to the cloud, they will want to bring desktop virtualization as well, and this kit allows to deploy that easily and in an integrated fashion. So in enterprise, typically, though, the dialogues will be around specific desktop virtualization workload. Now, when we are looking at SMB, then yes, in SMB, if there is an existing infrastructure and it's maybe a larger size company, then this can be deployed as a sort of standalone desktop virtualization appliance, you can call it, just for desktop virtualization workload. But in a small SMB segment, frankly, this solution can run customers' applications, Active Directory, and all of the other infrastructure that's needed. So the appliance that we're proposing here can be used pretty much across all different workloads. And then, yeah, SMB IT in the cloud, obviously, like an enterprise, if some SMBs are moving there, then this is a solution to use. Now, moving to the next section here about the product overview. So we'll spend a couple slides on this. As I mentioned earlier, the solution consists of sort of a reference architecture and Desktop 365 software. This architecture defines a desktop virtualization environment, and pretty much part of this environment is the Active Directory, NetScaler. We're deploying VPX, SQL, storage, which is file shares, XenDesktop, and XenApp. In the later version, we're consolidating with 7.6, so you can eliminate deployment of one controller for XenApp separately, yet deployment of XenApp is possible and supported in an automated way. As part of the base environment, 2 worker VMs are also deployed, the Windows Server OS and with Windows Desktop OS. So this environment is usable and operational right after implementation. Now, there are two pieces of software. One is called Setup Wizard. The other is Administration Portal that are provided by Maximum Bit as part of this Desktop 365 offering. And Setup Wizard comes with an installation package. We'll share a few more details on the next slide, and supports automated deployment of this desktop virtualization environment shown in the middle. And then when this environment is deployed, part of this deployment is a separate VM for Administration Portal. We run Storefront also on the same VM. And the Administration Portal enables self-service for business users, as well as it automates a number of use cases on the IT administration of the environment. Next level of detail about Setup Wizard, the installation package that comes with it includes the MSI installer for the Setup Wizard, so you just run it and within a few seconds you can install it on a workstation. And then there is a configuration file. It's an XML file that allows or basically has all the settings about this environment, and nothing is hard-coded. So all configurations of the software are done and captured in this file. And then there is a set of OS images that can be used. They're pretty much plain operating system images with they're patched and can be used for this deployment. So using this installation package, you can run the Setup Wizard. And really there are just two stages there. One is you provide a certain amount of configuration information. So like license files, for example, domain and OU information, passwords, then IP addresses, certificate, and then URLs for the portals. Now, then after this information is entered, literally within 10 minutes, you can start the Setup Wizard, and then it deploys the environment. It creates virtual machines, installs the software, configures the environment, validates that it's operational, and the last screen pretty much has the links to the portals to launch and use. So it's a working environment right out of the bat. And then the administration portal offers self-service for business. So user management is part of it. So if there is, let's say, one deployment for a specific company, and the company has departments, so we really mimic the department departments to organizations, so which are groups of users. So if there is a marketing or sales department, then the users of that department will belong to this one organization, let's say marketing, and one or two users within that organization can be assigned administrative rights, and with that it can be a manager of the marketing department or then admin of that department, and that role can add users, remove users, enable, disable with few bounce clicks, really without any need to contact IT. And then users can be imported also from existing Active Directory. So this solution is integrated. If there is an existing Active Directory, then it can use it. If there is none, then it can deploy one. So both use cases are possible. And then when users are enabled or have access to the system, users can subscribe to applications. There is an approval workflow, so if certain apps are configured that they require approval, those requests will be routed to the admin of that group, and after approval, users will get instantly access to these applications. Now, the business admin can also assign applications to users from the back end. And then there is a set of configuration settings possible. So pretty much, as I said, business users can manage themselves. They don't need to contact IT for all these needs, and which reduces a great amount of IT overhead, and obviously speeds up access to applications for business users. Now, simplified IT administration, mostly two areas right now. There are a couple products in beta for other areas as well that will be released shortly. But right now, the environment management can be done without even going to Citrix admin console. So frankly, if you're onboarding new engineers, they may not need to go through a rigorous, full, detailed Citrix environment training. They can be just trained on this portal, which is a much simplified and automated way of configuring the environment. And so this whole Citrix farm can be managed from this portal. Now the trick is that all the data and configuration settings that were in the XML configuration file used by Setup Wizard during deployment, all the settings are migrated into the database of the administration portal. So hence, all the settings needed to set up and manage this environment are available and can be controlled now through the portal on an ongoing basis. This module also allows an engineer to create virtual machine, manage virtual machines, configure SMTP settings for notifications, and a couple other things. The other big block is image management. So it pretty much has a very neatly stitched together set of templates, starting from VHD and network templates that are linked to VM templates, and then VM templates linked to application and desktop templates. And then application template can be used to onboard applications into the library and then assign to users. So literally onboarding a new application is relatively simple. You just create a new VHD with that app installed. A couple mouse clicks within this image management sort of template area, linking these templates to this new VHD, creating new VM, new application template, and then publishing this application template into the library. Again, with few mouse clicks, will trigger the whole publishing process on the back end within the Citrix XenApp environment. But here you don't need to go to the XenApp console. That publishing of an application will be done automatically in a much simpler way. Very much appreciated feature by customers who are managing their existing environments, or managed service providers who are managing this for their customers. And then a hyperconverged system. Partners can use different type of infrastructure. This solution can be deployed in the cloud, can be deployed on traditional infrastructure. Now, hyperconverged systems became available on the market. Here, what we're doing is we're offering an alternative hyperconverged system using standard products available on the market. And so coming from Microsoft, and data core software-defined storage allows us to build this hyperconverged system starting from 2 nodes. And we have done a certain amount of automation in terms of bringing up that environment. With 2 nodes, you have full availability, failover clustering, and you can do live migration of VMs. At the same time, you have storage mirrored on 2 nodes for full redundancy. And if one node goes down, just repair it or bring a new node, resynchronize storage, and bring it up live. So it's a full feature sort of hyperconverged system environment. Again, starting from 2 nodes, can scale from there. And pretty cost efficient. I mean, we see almost almost 30%, if not more, lower cost versus some of the other products available on the market. So now with this technology, if we look at how would a typical project run, and that's what I was mentioning earlier, that can be done in a matter of sort of weeks. When you have an order from the customer or purchase order, the first step is obviously to kind of get ordered the hardware and buy the software licenses. So this is done in a traditional way. The hardware for this hyperconverged system can be from any major OEM. The software licenses can be for Citrix, Microsoft, any other products can be procured traditional way. Desktop365 licensing is available at Ingram Micro as a SKU and can be purchased there. Now this may take a week or two, and when the hardware arrives, then just this next 3 steps. You run assembler to set up the hyperconverged system, and then you can run a setup wizard to deploy the full software stack, and then you can use administration portal to manage the environment. You can use existing OS images, import new VHDs created where the applications are installed, and then publish these applications easily, add users, assign applications to users. All that can be done within that portal with few mouse clicks. We have some time, so I will switch now quickly to a demo environment, and we'll do a quick demo of the administration portal so that you have a feeling of the automation possible there. Just give me a second. We'll go to the portal website. So this is a demo environment running in Maximum Bit Data Center. I'm logging in. What you see in the middle is a Citrix web interface view that allows users to launch applications or launch desktops. And pretty much this environment is deployed within 1 hour by the setup wizard. As we can go to the next steps, we will be happy to demonstrate to you the setup wizard running, and you can also test it yourself. We're offering partners a demo kit to evaluate the software. But literally within 60 minutes, you have this environment deployed. The last screen provides this link to this portal, and you can log in and launch desktops. Now, this menu bar on the top is the .NET application that has been integrated with Citrix Web Interface, but also can work as a standalone app, obviously. And that's what provides the functionality of administration portal. Now, what I'll do, I'll quickly show the application store type of self-service for business users, and then a little bit about the engineer role in terms of environment management and image management. So the user here, the business roles really available is a user and a business admin. So a business admin is here. So as a user, as I mentioned, you can launch applications, but you also have a library where as a user you can go and subscribe or unsubscribe from apps. So some here, as you have seen, I have some apps already subscribed, so I'll just unsubscribe from them to demonstrate that it works pretty seamlessly. Now, it's not just what's done at the storefront level, where it is sort of, we call it hiding and hiding of applications that the user has access to. Here on the back end, this portal talks to Active Directory, to Zenap Farm, to do configuration changing and restrict access of this user to this app. So Now, in exactly the same way, the user can subscribe. So Paint, for example, does not require approval. So with one mouse click, you subscribe, and this app is instantly available for the user to start using. Now, Excel has been configured that it does require approval, and hence you see here subscription pending. So this is a good way to switch to the admin role. Now, the admin of that organization where this user belongs will get an email notification, can go to request section, and we'll see on the top the most recent request. Here is the request for Microsoft Office. So just click on it and then click on approve, and then this Excel application is instantly available here for the user to start working. Now, the admin can do more. What I was mentioning earlier, the admin can see the users and manage the users. For example, with one mouse click, I can disable a user just clicking here and clicking update. I'll not do it now. I can also create a user. So if we have created a new Active Directory, then this form is available to add new users by adding an email ID and just clicking submit. That user will be created in the system. If there has been an existing Active Directory, you can just add users to this form by providing the user ID information. So user management can be done here. The business admin has a library as well, and can and sees here as actually more applications. So, for example, Chrome is not enabled in user catalog, but Excel is. That's why you have seen Excel in the previous library of the user, but Chrome was not available. And maybe Chrome represents sort of a group of apps that only should be assigned by an admin, and it's possible. So if I select Chrome here, go to subscribed users, no one is subscribed. Now I am represented by demo admin user. So all I need to do as an admin just to click assign, and this app is now, you see here, Chrome is available to that user. It's exactly the same functionality works for desktops. So in the library there is a desktop section, and so now I'm subscribed to both, but I can really subscribe or unsubscribe users exactly in the same fashion for virtual desktops. In addition, there is a certain reporting section available as well. So usage report, billing report. Now, I will touch only quickly the engineer role. Essentially, this role can do the back-end management of the self-service function or application store, what we call. So here, organizations can be created, users can be managed, library can be managed exactly in the same way as business user or business admin can do it. Also, requests can be approved. So that's the first major block, back-end management of the application store. Then environment management is here under the configuration menu. So here is the information about the two farms deployed in this environment. This currently has Zen Desktop 7.6 and Zen App 6.5. So there are two really environments deployed. This environment runs on one host server, but if we need to add another server, it's as simple as clicking sort of on add a host, fill out this table, click on create host, and if we have a server with a hypervisor and storage installed on the network, then that server will be added to the farm. There is some virtual machine management functionality and ability to publish a new VM based on existing VM template. For example, Office 2010 is Windows Server with Office installed. Click Publish, and then new VM will be created here. And then the third, what we're calling image management under templates, really allows a very neat way to stitch together all these different templates. And the challenge on the ground is that it may require even multiple people sometimes to touch. So one person is doing images, the other is doing desktop virtualization. Here with this functionality, it's very simple way of linking VM templates to VHD templates. For example, there are 3 here, and we're using diff disk model. So each VM is based on a master image and this disk concept. So VM template essentially is linked to VHD template, and then application templates here. If I take, let's say, Notepad as an example, you really only need to provide as a command line where the application should be launched and where it should run. Select a VM template. Here we selected Office 2010, and then use a naming schema for VMs. So when more VMs are created by the system, automatically they will be named 001, 002. And so then when this application template is available, the engineer can go to the library and click on Publish Application. So, and there's again a very simple form. We took Notepad as an example. So here, application template is called Notepad. I can fill out a couple of these fields, select what category of application this is, what type of licensing is used, click Publish, and then this application will be published in the ZNAP farm on the back end automatically, literally within a few seconds. And this app is now available in the library and can be assigned to organizations and users, again, with few mouse clicks. So a very streamlined process. So this, with this, we're coming to the end of this presentation. So I would just summarize the maybe next steps and open up for Q&A. We still have a couple of minutes. So to engage with us, you can contact us at channel@Desktop365. Just write to us to this email. We can get on one-on-one conference calls to provide the next level of details about this offering, and we'll be happy to engage with the technical team to help them understand the product and to the next level of detail. And then essentially signing a channel partner agreement enables you to procure licenses and do deployments with our support. You can order a demo kit. It's a simple Intel NUC PC that you can use for your demonstration. It's, I think, a good enabler. Yeah, start selling, and then SKUs will be available at Ingram Micro. So with this, we will go to the Q&A section of today's webinar. I will be looking at the questions that have been submitted so far. If you have not yet submitted, please go ahead and submit your questions now, and we'll try to address them in today's call or later. I actually see a couple questions already, so thanks for sending. Yeah, Citrix Lifecycle Management also allows implement Zen mobile solution. It was not mentioned in the slide. Does this solution provide Zen mobile solution as well? So thanks, great question. So our product roadmap is towards a complete workspace solution. So we just started with Citrix. So Zen Mobile currently is not supported by us, but is on our roadmap to automate the deployment and management. So currently it's a roadmap item, but it's a clear plan that maybe in about a year with this technology, you would be able to deploy a complete workspace suite of products to manage physical PCs, mobile devices, end-to-end. That's part of the roadmap. Next question, how are hosting providers using your solution since Microsoft SPLA regulations do not allow Windows Desktop OS to be used unless it's dedicated hardware and the customer brings their own Microsoft Desktop VDA licensing? So our solution is not really altering any licensing models or anything else. It's really like a wrapper software to the existing Citrix, Microsoft licensing and software provided by those companies. So we support any model of licensing available today, and also mimic it with our CSP licensing program. So we have perpetual name, perpetual concurrent license, as well as subscription licensing for CSPs. Now, for hosting service providers, we strongly recommend to use Windows Server and create persistent virtual desktops based on Windows Server operating system as a way to avoid the Microsoft VDA sort of licensing issue. But again, we are pretty open. We are not providing hardware ourselves, so the partners can procure and hardware and own that hardware, or that hardware can be procured for the end customer and be owned by the customer. And hence the VDA licensing model will just depend how that hardware is procured. And so whatever is possible today will be possible with this automation as well. Is there any way to provision your services on Azure? So again, thanks, great question. We're working on that. So we have run this portal on Azure over the past, I would say, 1-2 years in a small environment. Now, as you are aware, Azure didn't support NetScaler until recently, really. So we have not expedited this as a solution, but the portal as such can be deployed and used even with existing Citrix environments, not only those that are deployed new. Obviously, there is more value when it's used with a new deployment. So the answer is, on Azure specifically, I would recommend work with us. If you have a specific use case you're working on, we might be able to enable that really within a matter of a couple of weeks or a month. So technically, there is not much work to do, so we're just looking for use cases and what's needed by partners, and then we'll enable them. Can this work in the multi-tenant environment, CSP type of question? Let me maybe bring one distinction. Multi-tenant can be used to call either network isolated environment. So when there is like infrastructure as a service, every customer has its own sort of network segment. Sometimes people call multi-tenant an environment when it's one Citrix farm, and segregation or multi-tenancy is done at access level controls. So we support that model. So when there is one Citrix farm and the portal has even one level of hierarchy above organizations, so we call it distributor level. You may have seen it on the portal. So you can really run multiple customers and even run it as a white label service to other partners from one farm using access level controls. Now, multi-tenant environment, this can still be used. In this case, I would call it still dedicated environment. So we would be literally taking a group of or a certain network segment assigned to a specific customer, and we'll be building a Citrix farm as a dedicated environment there with a dedicated portal. And that's how it is done today also. So infrastructure is multi-tenant and sort of shared at a hardware level, segregated through networking and hypervisor, but each environment for each customer is built in a dedicated way. So hence, we can support that as well. So both cases are supported. I just brought some clarification. Okay, one farm, multiple clients. I think this was a clarification to the earlier question on multi-tenancy. So thanks. Yeah, as I said, that one farm, multiple clients is clearly supported. We can give a demo of that in more details. It's clearly supported. I think we're out of time, and we're almost out of questions here. So I recommend you follow up with us. You can use this email address, channel@desktop365, to contact and set up a time to discuss these opportunities one-on-one. We'll be happy to. So appreciate you joining this call and starting this dialogue. So look forward to speaking with you in one-on-one sessions. Thank you very much. Bye.